Alright, what's up everybody? So I'd like to talk about a trip that I just took around the world. Went to about 20 countries. Got back in April and I've been looking for a job since. I went to Vegas in the meantime and I also went to a wedding in Texas. Um, and I've pretty much been looking for jobs for 2 weeks, um, which kind of sucks. But I'd like to talk about my trip and give some advice. The main advice is, especially if you are broke like me, is to skip Europe. Europe is way too expensive. Um, go to the Middle East. I love the Middle East. Egypt is super cool. Check out Cairo. Um, Cairo is a whole different city. It's like a city in the desert. Sand is in the streets. I was only there for 3 days because I had to catch a flight back in Israel. So me and this kid who I met, we basically rushed across the Israel border and went across the Sinai Peninsula. And it took me 3 days to get there and back. We stayed at a hotel at night there at night. But we took a camel ride around the pyramids. Um, and then we went to a cafe and smoked out of the hookah pipes and had some tea, which I thought was pretty enjoyable. We stayed in the main square, found a hotel. We had nothing booked, nothing planned, and just kicked it. It was pretty fun. It was with a dude from New Zealand, and I met him in Jerusalem. My brother met him in Jerusalem first, and I went to Jerusalem from Istanbul. And Istanbul kind of sucked. It was really gloomy when I went there. Um, I stayed at a real cool hostel. It was like a alleyway, like a really skinny street with a bunch of restaurants on the side, and it's not really that conservative. I was buying bottles of wine for like maybe $3 or $4. Um, Met these Moroccan kids who was trying to become a DJ in Istanbul. We went out uh, one night, and it was kind of expensive compared to what I was used to in Istanbul. But anyway, back to Israel. So after I went to Egypt, came back to Israel again to catch my flight uh, to Georgia in uh, in the Caucasus region. Um, I missed that flight because the the trip back across the Sinai Peninsula took so long, and I didn't realize how long it would take. But it takes 10 hours to get across the Sinai Peninsula. We took a taxi, and it was only $75 to take a 10-hour long taxi ride. And yeah, we took a taxi to Cairo and took a bus back. I would we should have took a I don't know if I would have made the flight anyway if I took a taxi back, but we took a bus anyway, but whatever. Um, and I stayed in Georgia for 2 weeks, which is like a small country in the Caucasus region. It's a pretty nice city. I stayed there for like 2 weeks. It was getting kind of boring. Uh, I booked a flight to India, to New Delhi. I missed that because I didn't bother checking the visa requirements because I had no trouble with my American passport getting into any of these countries. But I missed a $300 flight uh, in to get to India, and I had to rebook it, which cost me another 200 bucks. So I stayed in Georgia for another 5 days, which I was getting really sick of. But the beer there is really cheap. I would be buying 3 liters or 4 liters, maybe 5 liter bottles of beer, which is like 2 gallons of milk, 2 gallons of a jug of milk, and I would just drink that all day because I was getting kind of bored of Georgia. But there were some cool things that I could have done in Georgia that I missed out on, like skiing, which is really cheap. It's like 12 bucks to ski on Alp-sized mountains. But anyway, I flew from Georgia to Qatar, and Qatar is pretty. I don't like it. It was pretty shitty. It's just like a really sterile place, no culture. They just make all their money from the oil, and they just bring people from India to work for them. It's just really boring and sterile place, nothing to do. And then I was there for a 15-hour layover. I got a free ride into the city. They had some like tourist bus thing going on. And then got to India, New Delhi. I lost my debit card in Qatar airport. I think I remember where I lost it, but whatever. So I had no money when I got to India, and I didn't have a hostel booked, but I knew where it was, and I didn't have any money to take a taxi. So when I got to the airport, I was asking people for directions to get to. It's a neighborhood called the Old Colony in New Delhi. And uh, I met this dude. He was like a concierge for a hotel. He took me about 5 miles or maybe 2 miles in the direction that I needed to go and showed me around, show me which direction I should go, gave me some water. He offered to give me some money, but I was like, no, I can't take it from you. So he gave me a map, and I used the map to find uh, the neighborhood. And I was walking. It was about a 20-mile walk. It took me like 4 or 5 hours to find this neighborhood. But on the way there, I mean, New Delhi wasn't that bad. It was just really polluted. I didn't see North New Delhi, which I hear is full of slums. But I really didn't like New Delhi. It was like, it wasn't that dirty, but there was open sewers on the side of the road with concrete covering it, and I would just walk on top of that because I didn't want to get hit by the traffic. The worst thing I saw was probably like some dead puppies on the side of the street. Um, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. Anyway, I get to the, I get to the hostel, and I'm staying there 2 nights maybe, eating Indian food, which is really good. I never thought I would like vegetarian food, but that was really eye-opening how good vegetarian food is, which we don't have much of in Chicago. Um, but anyway, on the second day I was there, I met this German dude who helped me out with money because I didn't have any money, and he told me to pay him back via PayPal, which I did in the end. And we walked around New Delhi, seeing sights like this old theater and this theater show, or we saw the Sikh temple, which is those people that wear the turbans on their head. And then we decided to go to see the Taj Mahal the next day, so we took a train, an overnight train, which was like maybe, I forget, maybe 10 hours from New Delhi to this city called Agra, which they built they built the Taj Mahal, which was pretty cool. I mean, I got to say that I saw it, um, but it was alright. It was between whatever and alright. So, I mean, it was cool, I guess. But I saw it, and we met this other chick. She was at the hostel, and we went to. We told her to follow us to the next city. Um, took the city called Varanasi, which is like the holiest city in India, where they like burn bodies and put them into the river. It's like a Hindu city. So we told the girl to meet us there, and we took a 16-hour train ride. It was like only 300 miles. The infrastructure in India really, really, really sucks. But we took the 16-hour train ride. We always got the first class seats. They were really cheap. They were like $2, and it was like a sleeper class. You had a bed to sleep on. But the other girl wasn't so fortunate because she was riding in steerage, where she was just crammed with a whole bunch of people in one spot, like a bunch of poor people in like the steerage class. Uh, and she said it was terrible, but whatever, too bad for her. And we were in Varanasi, saw a bunch of holy stuff. I was there for a while. I needed to chill out from India. India is crazy. There's so many people just hustling, trying to survive. And in America, we have it so much easier. Getting jobs is so much easier. But I was there for about 4 days. I was in India 8 days total, but I was like, I need to get out of here. It's way too hot. It's too dirty. Too many people. So I was like, I'm gonna go into the Himalaya mountains to cool down, because the Himalayas are elevated. Um, they're a lot cooler because of the elevation, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go there. And I asked the hostel owner, how do you get there? And he's like, another train, which I was like, all right, take the other train, and you have to take a bus. So I took the train, took the bus, and where I was going was to Nepal. So I had to pay another $60 for a visa to get into Nepal. And this video is already 13 minutes long, so I'm going to leave it at that, but I'll continue the story tomorrow or whatever. Alright, peace out.